It seems very likely that Ricky Starks will leave AEW once his contract is up and join WWE. And I know that speculation has been thrown around as Ricky Starks has been spotted at WWE shows in the past, but that isn't the reason why the former FTW champion will likely soon be joining the biggest wrestling company in the world. No. Instead, if you look at the way that Ricky Starks has been used in AEW and the way that his pushes have been really start and stop over the past number of years, it really points to one critical factor. That being that no matter what, no matter how hard they try, Ricky Starks in AEW is not working. If you go back over the last few years and look at the way Starks has been presented, you will notice that he has high-profile matches where he shines and delivers at the highest of levels, going back to his match with MJF when he cut one of the best promos I've ever heard anyone cut in all of All Elite Wrestling, where he said that he was going to take that responsibility off of MJF's plate, and that was a moment where he cemented himself. And after he had that big-time match with MJF, it was followed by nothing. Ricky Starks did nothing in the follow-up of that match. He was a bigger star for having had that, but he never got back to the same level, and that's the issue. Every time this guy looks to be at the precipice of superstardom, they just don't do anything with him. And this has been a consistent trend with other talents in AEW. If you go back and look at Miro, go back and look at the way that Andrade El Idolo was handled, you'll notice that one of the bigger problems that the company has is finding a way to keep all of their big stars in the mix while at the same time advancing the stories that are driving ratings, that are driving views, that are driving clicks, and driving profits at the end of the day. That is a hard balance to have, and AEW has yet to strike the right balance there. But when you're talking about a guy like Ricky Starks, who we all know WWE will gobble up the second that he is available, you can't be taking chances. This is someone who in the ring is as good as anyone out there. On the mic is, honestly, in my view, a once-in-a-generational talent. People can say that he's a bootleg version of The Rock. People can claim that Ricky Starks doesn't have an original bone in his body, which is absolutely asinine if you ask me or any knowledgeable wrestling fan. But all of those criticisms aside, he's got it all. And that packaging can do wonders once he goes over to WWE, like many believe he will. And just look at the potential for storytelling there. Ricky Starks can go to the main roster and immediately insert himself into a feud with Cody Rhodes, the biggest star in all of pro wrestling right now. And after that feud, he will be a made man and someone who I believe will not only live up to the expectations that were set before him, but I think someone who will prove in that moment that he is the real deal and a future world champion in this business. He can do that. He can tell that great story with Cody and establish himself as a star in the main roster, or you can do more of a slow burn. Have Ricky show up in NXT, have him beat everyone down, have him talk everyone down, and establish himself as the dominant force in all of NXT, and then slowly but surely plan his way back to the main roster. There is so much storytelling to be told there, and unfortunately, I just don't see where Ricky Starks fits into AEW, and that really speaks to the issue that I outlined earlier. If he isn't being booked as consistently as he should be, then at the end of the day, people aren't going to care. And it's unfortunate because I always thought that there was immense potential for Ricky Starks in AEW. And that is not saying that Ricky has not shined in the moments that he needed to shine or that he hasn't lived up to that. I think he has. I think the issue really is on the booking front. And he also, let's be honest, kind of got screwed by the whole Brawl In situation. The one person who we clearly can say got the short end of the stick is Ricky Starks. And even though he had a great match with Bryan at All Out the following week, and they were able to kind of salvage that a little bit, being able to be in the ring with CM Punk after they had spent nearly half the summer telling that story after Ricky Starks won the Owen Hart Cup, it was just such an unfortunate series of events that he wasn't able to capitalize on that momentum, capitalize on that storytelling, and have that match with Punk for the Real World Championship. Because that really could have helped, I think, bring him back to that level where he was when he first faced MJF for the world title. And unfortunately, that never happened. He did win the tag team titles, but that was almost a secondary run as far as tag team titles go, because I don't think they were presented nearly as much as they should have been on TV. And by the time they got around to losing the belts, I think a lot of people had forgotten that they were the champions. That's how sparingly they were presented as big time major threats. So unfortunate, but I think for Ricky Starks, it is just about time to have a change of scenery. And I think if he is a free agent in 2024, like it has been speculated about, WWE will come calling and he will be a major star for them.